Hey, party people! It's me, Logan. I'm back. Driving to work again. Yeah. Daily grind. Anyhow, today, while watching YouTube and doing my normal gym routine where I ride 5 or 6 miles and I do crunches, I try to, not be a fat blob. I got to just thinking and listening to what they're saying. The only people who can infringe on your First Amendment rights, when you think about it logically, is the government. Because they're the only ones who can forcefully tell you to, stop speaking or not say something under threat of being jailed or, beat up, whatever. Any other place, all they can do is make you leave their premises. You can still say whatever you want. You just have to leave where you're at and get off their property if they don't like it. That's the only difference. Whereas the government, you can be in your living room and they can tell you, no, you can't say that, even if you're recording it. So, with that being said, since government's kind of entangled in YouTube with the FCC and telling them what they can and can't put out for fear of inciting riots or swaying public opinion, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Since the government stuck its fingers into YouTube's business, that means that YouTube doing any censoring at all is an infringement on your First Amendment rights. And that also means that if you've got a bunch of subscribers, let's say you've got 200,000 subscribers, so now you can be monetized. That means that if there's a flaw in YouTube's algorithms and they tell you only have 100,000 subscribers, that means that number of 200,000 is worth a lot of money. Because for the advertisers that are buying airtime, they're buying hits. They know if they pay YouTube $1,000, they'll get X number of hits per month of their commercial broadcast across the spectrum. So if YouTube tells them, hey, I'm going to broadcast it to these 9 channels, and look, they all have 200,000 subscribers. That means that YouTube is getting paid off of the viewership the creator has earned, and YouTube is not giving the creator his due amount of money for earning that many viewers. Basically, it's uncompensated labor, while at the same time, censorship and First Amendment rights abuse because the government is involved. So now it's a constitutional issue and a grand theft issue because of the amount of money involved. You figure if you've got 100 creators that all think they have 100,000 subscribers, if the true number is 10 times that, that means the profit coming into YouTube is 10 times the amount the creators know about. That's just the same as if you invested in a company and they lie about their profits so that they don't have to give you as big a return. Now, if that happened, how long do you think that would be allowed to go on? If I was an investor and the company I invested in was lying about profits to keep from giving me my money, that wouldn't last that long. That would get destroyed in court. But when it's flipped around and it's the companies raping the creators who are just common people instead of corporate lawyer-backed entities, When it's just the masses, it's okay for fraud like this to happen, even when pointed out point blank for everyone to see, because we don't have that big of reach. But we can create the reach ourselves without relying on YouTube to do it for us. So if we start sharing internally between ourselves and our spheres of influence, then we can make our personal sphere of influence grow in the only place that it really matters that it does grow, and that's your local area. So if we start taking news that we look up and we discern ourselves, and we start sharing it with each other, and stop relying on a corporate entity, then we won't have to put up with all of the manipulative advertising and public persuasion and social engineering issues that you have to worry about when you're watching a corporately owned system. It's corporately owned, which means it'll take money from anyone willing to give it, even if it means changing their broadcasting. So we need to, this is just a thought, we need to completely step aside from any mainstream source of media and instead start looking to each other to find out the news that we're interested in. Because hell, I like looking up politics and corporate fraud and insurance fraud of a major... I like looking up that stuff. So if there's people who like to hear about that and wanted me to talk about it, that'd be no problem. If someone wants me to talk about something or wants to know about something that I'm interested in, hell, I'll meet you at a bar and talk your ear off for an hour. I think that's one thing us people like me, people who like looking into stuff and like investigating, they like being a citizen journalist, if you will. They like finding out info. That's something people like me yearn for, is someone to talk about what we found with. We want to tell people what we found. We've got an idea of what the world really is that nobody else knows about because it's our idea. It's based off of what we've seen, what we've looked up, the connections we've made, and the little similarities we've seen between stuff. It's not a story that you're jumping on a bandwagon with about. It's our idea, our image of how things might really be working. So if you think of it from a fictional novel standpoint, it'd be like reading a new fictional novel about how the world really works. Every time you log on to somebody's channel, you're getting to hear a new rabbit hole. Hey, tell me about the rabbit hole you fell down last night. Well, I was looking up this and I discovered this, and it turns out that this group of people were involved with this activity that turned out was invested in this situation, which means that this story we've all been taught isn't even close to being real. Yeah, there was a lot of generalization there, and it was as neutral as I could be without pointing out any specifics. But you get the gist of what I'm talking about. You start looking into a subject, and you start peeling back the layers of propaganda and manipulation that have whitewashed every single aspect of the story. You start peeling off all that whitewash and flaking off all the plaster, and you find out this is a shitty, rickety ass structure that doesn't stand up to anything. All the stuff that we were being told is nothing but a shiny coat of paint and a little extra time with some plaster bondo. This story is trash. Or you look up a story and you're like, oh my God, this is a gold mine. This is a diamond in the rough, and then you spread it. That's how viral stories start. So I looked into something, found out, hey, this is real. Shared it with some people who thought, oh my God, this is real. Next thing you know, it's on 4 million screens across the nation simultaneously with people saying, holy shit. The sad part is all they have to do to make that go away is the flip of a switch, change a couple of words in a line of code, and run a couple of offhand, secondhand stories in between news stories as filler material. And now you've subconsciously erased that from everybody's memory by wiping it off the internet and explaining it away using some stupid offhand tasteless story that lets people just mentally shut the switch off on their curiosity. They just explain it away because you mentioned it offhand in a roundabout way that told their brain, hey, this story is no longer valid. So now they didn't tell you it was fake, or they didn't tell you that it was wrong, but they insinuated it in a way that you're picking up without consciously thinking about it. So then in the future, your brain doesn't jump back to that situation subconsciously, because subconsciously it knows it doesn't matter anymore. So now it's taken it out of your little Rolodex of thoughts you think of, and it's tucked it away in a box somewhere in the back corner where you may or may not remember it at some point. And if somebody mentions it, you'll have a recollection of it. It's back there deep now because your subconscious filed it away. Well, I'm at work now, so I'd like to thank the 0 subscribers I have and the absolutely no one who listens to my channel, because the lack of people, while it's liberating to just speak your heart because you know you've finally gotten it off your chest, it's also a tiny bit nerve-wracking because you know the true you is out there floating around on the internet. You know that you've basically went to a confessional that was attached to a loudspeaker that played across the high school cafeteria during lunchtime. You know that's basically what you're doing. If anybody gets curious and starts looking, that's basically what you're doing. You're like, hey, look at me. Yeah, that person I pretend to be, so you don't think I'm a big weirdo. Yeah, that's just fake. This is the real me, people. That's right. I got a pile of Cheetos sitting on my belly. I'm drinking a beer and scratching my butt. That's me. I really don't care what I look like. And ignore the ego person that you're used to, because this is the real me, fuckers. Yeah, that's me. It's liberating, but it's almost like you're finally being honest with everybody, because you know if you try holding on to that false facade of that ego that you had, that you tried building up, and you tried, putting a foundation under, you tried proving to everybody that that's really who you are. You realize that that entire persona has just been blown out of the water and has no viable chance of sustaining itself, because right now I'm basically taking out every single guy wire that was holding that guy up. I'm going around with a pair of bolt clippers snapping every single guy wire that put tension on that tower. It's a rickety tower right now. That ego that I tried building up, that bastard's going down. But I'll be honest with everybody then. And I'll never have to worry about my cover being blown or people seeing through my charade, because they'll know who I am. There won't be any charade. What I say will be what I think, because I won't try to withhold any of it. And if you're not trying to withhold any of your thoughts, that means that you're completely honest with everybody. And you don't ever have to worry about being a bad person, because as long as people still like you and are hanging out with you and want to do stuff with you, it's because you're a good person. Not because you made them think you were a good person. Because there is no fake you. It's only you. That's the only person there is. Get rid of your ego. You don't ever have to worry about being found out. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah. Sorry, alarm to walk inside. Anyways, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of my ego. So if I ever have to go to court for anything stupid, or anybody ever tries to blame shit on me, I go to court and everybody in that courtroom knows me. They know every single thing about me. Hell, they can go online and find out my favorite food, my favorite beer, what's my favorite thing to do, who am I interested in, what was the last song I listened to, how many books have I read, I wonder what movies I like, who's my favorite actor, do you like comedy, I like comedy, I wonder what would happen if I was in a bathing suit in the middle of winter and I jumped in a pond. See, that's the stuff you would know. You would know every single thing about me. You'd know my intentions. What am I really after? I guarantee it's not being rich and famous. I'm just after being happy. Being able to make people laugh. And smile. Regardless of how shitty their day's been. If even for a brief moment. Hell, maybe they accidentally ran over their dog this morning on the way to work. But if I can make them forget that for even 10 seconds, it's worth it. It would be to me. If that was consuming my thought and that's all I could think about, I would be so blessedly thankful for somebody to distract me from that. Even for a little bit. Well, emotions are starting to take over because, that's who I am. I got to get into work so I can eat my breakfast. So I'll talk to you guys later. And since I've still got 0 subscribers, thanks for nothing. I do appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.